Under pressure from my family to marry. At 28 I met a female police officer through dating and chose to marry after knowing each other for 2 months. On the night of the wedding. We hadn't even settled into the bridal chamber before she received an urgent mission and rushed out to police duty. I have always understood her busy profession and have accommodated her day after day. For full 6 months after marriage. We had not slept together even once. Built-up emotions erupted completely, and after the argument I took the initiative to file for divorce. Her previously indifferent eyes suddenly reddened. She turned her back, and slowly lifted up her clothes. That moment, my hands started to tremble. Chapter 1. My name is Lu Zheng, 28 years old, an ordinary designer at a certain architectural design institute. Saying ordinary is truly ordinary. A monthly salary of 12,000. No car. The house's down payment was paid by my parents. And I'm paying the mortgage myself. Looks average in appearance. Somewhat introverted in character. Not many friends. After work goes home to play games. With these conditions in our small town, to put it nicely, is honest and decent. To put it bluntly, nobody would be willing to marry. But my mom refuses to believe it. Lu Zheng, if you don't get married this year, I'll jump from the building. These words have been spoken by her every year since I was 26. By the 3rd year, even my dad started chiming in. Your mother's blood pressure is high again. You deal with it. What can I do? Let's date through matchmaking. In 3 years, I've met no fewer than 20 girls. Some disliked my height. Some disliked that I don't have a car. And some added me on WeChat and then deleted me after 2 sentences of chat. The scariest one said after a meal, "You're a nice person, but I don't think you'll make money." Okay, admitted it. Until that Saturday afternoon. My mom dragged me to the tea house again. This time the girl's conditions are especially good. She's with the Public Security Bureau. Officially on staff. You should be a bit more respectful toward me. I leaned back in the chair and nonchalantly scrolled through my phone. Seen it so often that I'm numb. Then, the door was pushed open. The woman who came in was probably 168 meters tall, with a low ponytail, no makeup, slightly dark skin, the healthy sun-kissed color you get from years outdoors. She was wearing a black short-sleeved top and dark gray pants, with a pair of sneakers on her feet. The whole person looked neat and tidy, and walking, there was a breeze behind her. As soon as she came in, she swept the room with a glance. Her eyes locking precisely onto our table. Then she walked straight over, pulled out a chair, sat down, and the first words she spoke were, "Hello. Shen Yu, Western City Branch Criminal Investigation Team." The tone was like making a transcript. My mom froze for a moment, then kicked me hard. I quickly sat up straight. "I am Lu Zheng, an architectural designer." Shen Yu nodded, not small talk, and directly said, "I work quite busy. Often work overtime, sometimes on business trips. The timing is not fixed. Can you accept that?" I said yes. She asked again. "I'm not very good at housework, and I don't cook much. Do you mind?" I said I didn't mind. "I can cook for myself." She looked at me for 3 seconds. During those 3 seconds, I felt as if I had been X-rayed. Then she said, "Okay, then let's take a look around first." Just like that. No probing. No tugging. "No, I'll go back and think about it. It's like signing a contract." My mom pinched my thigh under the table, and her eyes were glowing. In the following 2 months, Shen Yu and I met about 7 or 8 times. We ate, walked, and watched a movie, every time. It was her who set up the meeting, and it was her who ended it. She doesn't talk much, but every word she says is concise. She never acts coy, never posts memes, and WeChat chats are always a question and answer, ending with a period. When I ask what she likes to eat, she says anything is fine. When I ask where she wants to go on the weekend, she says you decide. To be honest, I don't feel that she has any special feelings for me, but at the same time, she has never rejected me either. 2 months later, she suddenly said over a meal, "My dad asks when we'll get married." The chopsticks almost slipped out of my hand. So fast. She looked at me, her eyes calm. "I think it's about enough. You're not slick. You can handle it. Handle it." This is probably the most straightforward confession I've ever received in my life. After hearing the news, my mom booked a hotel and found a wedding planning company that same night. The efficiency was faster than when I was drawing the construction plans. A month later, the wedding was held as scheduled. The scene wasn't grand. About 30 tables, with relatives and friends on both sides. It was just enough to fill. When Shinyu wore the wedding dress, I felt for the first time. She is really pretty. That kind of beauty isn't about heavy makeup or ornate styling. It's the kind that has a light in the eyes and stands there, making people feel at ease. I thought everything was moving in a good direction. Until evening. After the wedding banquet was over and the friends who caused a ruckus in the bridal chamber had dispersed, I finished my shower and came out to see Shinyu sitting by the bed removing her earrings. I gathered my courage, walked over, and gently touched her shoulder. She turned her head and gave me a glance. Then, my phone rang. She picked up the phone, and her face instantly changed. How long ago was it? Send me the address. After hanging up, she stood up and started getting dressed. The wedding dress was tossed on the bed. She rummaged through the suitcase and pulled out a black coat. Moving with astonishing speed. There's a case that came up. I have to go take care of it. Tonight. Not a single sorry was uttered. When the door is closed, the sound is not loud, but in the quiet room it is unusually clear. I sit alone on the large red bed, looking at the room full of balloons. Wedding night. That's it. Chapter 2. After Shinyu left that day, she didn't come back for 3 days. On the third night at 11, when she came in through the door, I had already taken down all the balloons in the wedding room. She placed her bag at the door, changed into a pair of slippers, and glanced at me. The case is closed. Just this sentence. Then I went to the bathroom to take a shower. And after coming out I fell straight asleep. I lay beside her, with about 20 centimeters of distance between us, as if there were a wall in between. I told myself that her job is special and I should understand. She had already said before we married that she would be busy and work late often. I promised. As for men, we do what we say. But life turned out completely different from what I expected. She was almost out the door every day at 6 in the morning, sometimes gone by 5. The scent of her hair lingered on the pillow, but she was no longer present. The time I come back at night is never fixed. When luck is good, around 7 or 8. When luck is bad, in the late night. The most extreme time was when she didn't come home for 5 consecutive days. I rang her more than 10 times. All of them busy signals. On the 6th day she came back. Her face pale, lips chapped, collapsed on the sofa and fell asleep. I covered her with a blanket and brought a cup of water to place on the coffee table. She slept for a full 14 hours. After waking up, she had a drink of water, said thank you, and then went out again. Thank you. She said thank you to me. We are a married couple. I started shopping, cooking, tidying the house, taking out the trash, and paying the utilities all on my own. I wash her clothes, and I iron her police uniform and hang it in the wardrobe. There is always food kept for her in the fridge, and soup is kept in the thermos. She sometimes eats it, and sometimes leaves it untouched. I just pour out the one that's untouched, and make a new batch the next day. A month, 2 months. We live under the same roof, but our life paths hardly intersect. Occasionally we do meet, only when she has just come back and I am about to go out, glancing at each other briefly in the doorway. Have you eaten? The conversations never exceed 3 sentences. One evening, I gathered my courage, waited for her to finish washing, and sat down beside her. Shinyu. Can we talk? She looked at me, her hair still dripping wet, leaning against the headboard, her eyes so tired that her eyelids were fighting. Go ahead. I organized my words. I feel like there's something missing between us. She didn't answer. I continued. It's not that I'm blaming you for being busy with work. I understand. But the two of us don't even have time to say a word. This. Lu Zheng. She interrupted me, her voice very soft. I'm really tired. Can we talk about it another day? Another day. Another day again. I nodded, and didn't say another word. That night I had a dream that I was sitting alone at a very large dining table, the table full of dishes, but the chair across from me was always empty. When I woke up, her side of the bed was cold. She left again. My mom started making calls. Xiao Zheng. When do you guys plan to have a child? Mom is getting old and wants to seize the chance to help take care of you while she still can. I was holding my phone, not sure how to respond. How could we want that? Mom, I've hardly even held my wife's hand a few times. Getting closer. Getting closer. Just a little longer. Every time. This phrase is used to fool my way through. Chapter 3. The third month. At a colleague's dinner at the company, someone asked me, Lu Zheng, you've been married for so long. How is there no change at all? Others gain 10 pounds after marriage. But you've actually lost weight. I smiled and said I've been busy with work and didn't notice. Su Wei sat across from me, holding her wine glass without saying a word. Su Wei is in our design department. Joined the company a year after me. Beautiful, speaks nicely, and has especially good social connections. Before, she had kept close to me, and would chat with me on WeChat for a few words now and then. After getting married, she restrained herself for a while, but lately she has started again. Brother Lu, why are your eye circles so dark? Brother Lu, the lunch cafeteria food isn't tasty. So I brought you some takeout. Brother Lu, can you come to the department team building this weekend? I doubt your wife will mind. Right. When she spoke the last sentence, she squinted and smiled a bit. There was a tentative undertone in that smile. I didn't respond. After the event ended, Su Wei voluntarily offered to take me home. I said no need. Just a taxi would do. She grabbed my sleeve. You've been drinking. I haven't. It's on the way. So I'll ride along. In the car she suddenly asked, Brother Lu, you and sister-in-law, are you guys okay? I was taken aback for a moment. Pretty good. Really? She stared at the road ahead, her tone casual. I have a close friend who also married a policeman. We hardly ever see each other. Eventually she couldn't stand it and divorced. I didn't speak. She added another line. Some people are just not meant to marry. That sentence was like a needle piercing a place I had always avoided. When I reached the downstairs of the community, I opened the door, got off the car, and said thank you. I went upstairs and pushed the door open. It was dark. The living room was dark. The bedroom was dark. She didn't come back today either. I stood in the hallway without turning on the light, pulled out my phone, and sent Xinyu a WeChat message. Can you come back today? After 20 minutes, I received 2 characters in reply. No. Didn't say the reason. Didn't apologize. Just these 2 words. I threw my phone onto the sofa and walked into the kitchen. The braised pork ribs I cooked yesterday in the fridge she didn't touch with a single chopstick. I took them out and threw them into the trash can. Then I scrubbed the pot clean again. Teas become a habit. By the 4th month, I began to feel as if I hadn't married a wife at all, but rather had adopted a cat in this house. Sometimes I'd come back. Sometimes I'd curl up on the sofa, not letting you touch me, and if you reached out, it would dodge away. The difference is the cat would occasionally rub against you. She wouldn't. I tried many times. I cooked dishes she loves. Actually, I don't even know what she loves to eat. I just cooked according to the few feedbacks she gave, like, that means this is okay. I placed them on the table and sent a message saying I was waiting for her. She would either not reply, or reply with you eat first. One time, she came back early, and I had finished washing the fruits and set them before her. Tentatively sitting a little closer, there is a faint smell of disinfectant on her body. I reached out and placed my hand on her shoulder. Her body stiffened noticeably. Then she stood up calmly and said, I'll go take a shower. After washing up, she turned off the light directly and lay down with her back to me. Her breathing soon steadied and became even. I didn't know whether she was truly tired or just pretending to sleep, but whichever it was, the result was the same. She doesn't want me to touch her. Half a year. We haven't even kissed. Chapter 4. One dawn in the 5th month, I was awakened by the sound of the door lock turning. Looking at my phone, it was 2:40 a.m. Xinyu walked in with a light step, trying to tread as quietly as possible. But I'm awake now. I turned on the bedside lamp. The moment the light came on, I saw her appearance, and my whole body froze. There is a dark stain on the left sleeve, not very clear on the black coat, but I could smell it. That is the smell of blood. Xinyu. She stood at the doorway, a momentary look of panic on her face. Then she regained her composure. It's someone else's, not mine. She came over to pick up the change of clothes and went into the bathroom. I followed to the door, and the door was locked. Water sounds came from inside. I stood outside the door and waited for 15 minutes. When she came out, She was wearing long-sleeve pajamas and wrapped herself up tightly. "Shenyu, are you hurt?" "No. Let me take a look at you." "Lu Zheng." I said I haven't. Her tone suddenly hardened. With an unchallengeable firmness. That was the tone she used when handling a case. "I am not a suspect. I am her husband. Every time you come back, I either smell disinfectant or blood on you. Do you think I can't smell it? What case are you really working on?" "I can't tell you." "Then can you tell me? Do you still consider me your husband?" She was silent for a long time. Then she said, "Stop messing around. Go to sleep. Stop joking around." 3 characters. All my care, worry, and patience are reduced to 2 characters. Acting up. Early the next morning, she left the house as usual at 6. I sat on the bed without moving. In the washing machine were the clothes she changed out of last night. When I took them out to hang them up, I found that under her black long-sleeve top there was a white undershirt. On the right sleeve of the undershirt, there is a slit that has been cut open and then resewn. The edges have a faint brown stain. Those are traces where the bloodstain hasn't been completely washed away. My hand clenched the clothes. His knuckles turning white. She's injured. She really is injured. But she won't let me look. Won't let me ask. Won't let me touch. What am I? A cohabiting roommate? A free babysitter? Or a stranger she can't even be bothered to pretend with? That noon, Su Wei ran into me in the tea room and said I looked awful. I smiled a little and didn't say anything. She handed me a cup of coffee. "Luge, there are some things you don't say and I can still tell. Does your wife not care about you at all?" I took the coffee and didn't answer. She whispered, "You deserve to be treated well." That sentence almost brought tears to my eyes in the break room. I hurriedly turned my head away and gulped down the coffee. It was hot. My tongue is numb. But it's still better than how I feel inside. Chapter 5. 6th month. November 17th is my birthday. This is our first birthday since we got married. The night before, Shenyu was at home, which is rare. She leaned on the sofa looking at her phone. And I gathered my courage to speak. "Tomorrow is my birthday." She looked up at me once. I'm not sure whether she knows about it. Should have seen my ID when we registered for marriage. But she never mentioned it. "I want to have a meal at home. Just the 2 of us." She paused for a moment. Then nodded. "Okay. I'll try to come back early. Try your best." It's another case of try to again. But I still believed it. The next day I took half a day off on purpose and went to the market to buy the sea base she mentioned casually that day. Bought pork ribs. And bought fresh vegetables. It took 3 hours to make 4 dishes and 1 soup after getting home. Steamed base. Sweet and sour pork ribs. Tiger skin peppers. Scrambled eggs with tomatoes. Plus a pork rib and lotus root soup. I also bought a small cake. I wiped the table 3 times. Arranged the dishes. And even stuck in the candles. Then I sat at the dining table, looking at the empty chair across from me, waiting. 6:30. No one returned. 7 o'clock. Called. No one answered. 7:30. I messaged on WeChat. No reply. 8 o'clock. The dishes started to cool. I covered the sea base with a layer of plastic wrap. 9 o'clock. The surface of the spare rib soup had a layer of white fat. 10 o'clock. I blew out the candles. The cake said happy birthday. And the cream has started to sag a little. At 11:40. The phone finally rang. WeChat message from Shenyu. "Today a big case came up. I can't leave. You eat first. Happy birthday." 2 messages. 3 minutes apart. I stared at those 4 characters happy birthday for a long time. Then put the phone down and start tidying the table by myself. The sea base was poured out. The ribs were poured out. The green pepper was poured out. There was too much broth. When pouring, half spilled into the sink. And the white broth splashed onto my sleeve. I stand in the kitchen. My hand resting on the sink. Forehead pressed against the cabinet. Not crying. Men. You know. At 2 in the morning. She pushed the door open, feeling the kitchen light still on. She saw me sitting on the dining chair, and in front of me was an unopened cake. "Lu Zheng. Are you here?" I looked up, gave her a quick smile. "You've worked hard." It's nothing." I stood up, pushed the cake aside. "It's late. Go to sleep." As I passed by her, I smelled the scent of antiseptic on her. Wounded again. I didn't ask. Asking is in vain. That was the last straw. It felt lighter than all the grievances before. Yet it crushed all of my patience. Chapter 6. The next morning, Shinyu hadn't left yet, brushing his teeth in the bathroom. I sat at the dining table, 2 printed documents in front of me. Divorce agreement. I had studied for 3 days, filling in the template I found online. 1 word at a time. In the property section, I wrote each party's property under their own name belongs to them. The house is my prenuptial property, and there is little involvement on her side either. Spotless. After she finished brushing her teeth and came out, she saw the documents on the table, and her body stiffened for a moment. What is this? A divorce agreement. I said. You take a look. If there's no problem, sign it. I'll go to the Civil Affairs Bureau to take a number. She didn't answer at once. She walked over, picked up the document, and flipped through it page by page, then put it down again. Why? I almost laughed out loud. Why? She actually asked me why. Shinyu, we've been married for 6 months. 6 months. Half a year. 183 days. We have never shared a full dinner together, never watched a complete movie together, and never strolled through the streets together. I don't know what time you get off work. I don't know what case you're investigating. I don't know whether you were injured today. You don't let me touch you. You don't let me ask you. You don't let me care about you. The food I cooked you don't eat. The words I say you don't listen to. And when I'm waiting for you, you don't come back. I shop for groceries, cook, do laundry, tidy up the house, pay utilities, and deal with both sets of parents. When you're not here, I'm alone. When you're here, I'm still alone. Shinyu, tell me, in this marriage, what do I count as? My voice rose at the last word. It wasn't intentional. I genuinely couldn't control it. 6 months. All the grievances, like a dam that had been punctured, suddenly flooded out. Shinyu stood about 2 meters away from me. Her lips moved once, but no sound came out. For the first time I saw on her face an expression I had never seen before. That was not the calm she wore while solving cases, nor the aloofness when she rejected me, nor the numbness when she came back exhausted. It's panic. In Shinyu's eyes, there is a kind of helpless panic. Lu Zheng. Her voice was very soft. Give me some more time. How long? I looked at her. Another 6 months. Another year. Until when should I wait? Until you retire? Not. She couldn't continue. Then I saw a scene I never thought I would see in my life. Shinyu's eyes reddened. Tears circled in her eyes. She quickly turned her head away and wiped it with the back of her hand. The movement was fast, as if dealing with something shameful, but I saw it clearly. Lu Zheng. She turned back, her voice tight. Don't depart. 2 characters, as if squeezed from her throat. I stood there blankly. 6 months. The warmest thing she ever said to me was these 2 words. But too late. I placed the pen beside the divorce agreement, stood up, grabbed my coat, and walked out the door. There seems to be a sound of something dropping on the ground behind me. I did not turn back. Chapter 7. In the following week, Shinyu seemed to have become a different person. On the first day, I came home and found 2 takeout orders on the table, with a note placed beside them. I don't know what flavors you like. I bought 2 servings. You pick. Shinyu. The handwriting is stiff. It's clear it was written by someone who writes with a fountain pen all the time. I glanced at it and didn't move. I cooked myself a bowl of noodles and ate it. The next morning when I left, there was a pair of new sneakers in the entryway, my shoe size. On the 3rd day, she unexpectedly sent me a long WeChat message. Can you be home before 8 today? Do you want to eat together? 8 o'clock. I wouldn't even say such things before. I replied with 1 word. Busy. Retribution. On the 4th day, she came back earlier. I was watching TV in the living room, and she stood at the doorway watching me for a while, then walked into the kitchen. There were clinking sounds coming from the kitchen. After half an hour, she brought out 2 plates of food. 1 plate had greens that were burnt at the edges, and the other was eggs fried so salty they tasted bitter. She handed me the chopsticks and said, I'm not very good at it. You make do and eat. She isn't afraid to cut bombs, but when it comes to cooking she's clumsy with her hands. I didn't answer. Shinyu. None of this will help. The hand holding the chopsticks froze midair. What I want isn't a meal. I know. Do you know what I want? Then. She fell silent. For a long time. Then they said something I didn't expect. What you want? I can't give you. I stared at her. At least for now. I can't give it. When will I be able to give it? Then. She bit her lip. Getting closer. I smiled. Soon. Another promise with no deadline. I stood up, turned off the TV, and went into the bedroom. This time, it was my turn to lock the door. On the 5th day, Su Wei gave me a call. Brother Lu. There's a design exhibition on Saturday. Do you want to go take a look together? I hesitated for a few seconds. Okay. Saturday was sunny. Suzwei wore a beige dress. Her hair down. With light makeup. A completely different style from Xinyu. Gentle. Bright. Soft. When we were touring the exhibition, she linked her arm with mine and pointed at an architectural model, saying, Lu Ji, look. This design is so unique. There was a moment when I felt a dazed sensation in my heart. If I had married someone like Su Wei back then. But that thought only lasted for a second, and I crushed it myself. I pulled my arm out, keeping my distance. Suvai, we're just colleagues. Her smile paused for a moment, then returned to normal. I know. It's just colleagues visiting an exhibition together. On the way back, I saw her expression in the reflection on the car window. Not sadness. A calculated, measured concession after computation. That expression gave me a sudden chill down my spine. That night when she got home, Xinyu sat on the sofa. She did not watch TV, did not look at her phone, just sat there. Where did you go today? She actually asked me about my whereabouts. We've been married for 6 months and she's never asked before. I went to an exhibition with a colleague. Which colleague? I stared at her. Do you have the right to manage that? When the words came out, I felt it was cruel even to myself. But I just wanted to make her hurt a little. Let her know the feeling of being ignored and shut out by others. Xinyu did not get angry. She lowered her gaze. Hands interlaced on her knees. It's my fault, she said. Her voice so low it was almost inaudible. But Lu Zheng, don't do something you'll regret. I went back to the bedroom and ignored her. That night at midnight, I got up to use the restroom and passed through the living room. Xinyu curled up on the sofa and fell asleep. She didn't cover herself with a blanket, and the curled-up posture made her look especially small. A document lay on the coffee table, pressed by her arm, revealing only the top few lines of text. I saw the words Special Task Force and Confidentiality Agreement. My heart gave a sudden jump. I didn't touch that document, but those few words, like a seed, have been planted in my mind. Chapter 8. Xinyu hadn't signed the divorce agreement. I didn't push her either. It's not that my heart softened. I'm waiting for an answer. An answer to what exactly she is hiding. The answer came sooner than I expected. That afternoon, I had just returned from the construction site to the Design Institute when the receptionist told me someone was looking for me. It was a middle-aged man, in his 40s, with a square face, wearing a gray jacket, and when he stood up, his knees creaked. Are you Lu Zheng? Yes. And you are. My surname is Han. I am Xinyu's master. He flashed his work ID directly. Xiqing Branch Bureau Criminal Investigation Team. Han Jianjun. Master. Xinyu never mentioned this person to me. He signaled for me to step outside to talk. In the convenience store downstairs, he bought himself a bottle of water, sat on the bench by the window, looking reluctant. Xiao Lu, there are some things I really shouldn't tell you, but Xinyu is so stubborn. If she won't say it herself, this marriage will really fall apart. I held the bottle of mineral water and said nothing. Han Jianjun sighed and rubbed his face. She is carrying out a task for a special project group. It spans provinces and started last year. Last year, I was startled in my heart. We got married in March this year. Yes. By the time she got married, that case had already entered a critical stage. The mission is of a special nature, and the subjects involved have extremely strong counter-surveillance awareness. As a key member, all of her social connections have been screened by the other party. He looked at me, his tone turning very heavy. Including you. She didn't marry you for the mission. She really fell for you during the arranged date, but the organization has requirements for her confidentiality and cut off any intimate contact that could reveal whereabouts. Why can't she get close to you? It's not because she doesn't want to. Because I can't. My head rang with a buzz. Do you know how many wounds she has? Han Jianjun asked me. I opened my mouth but could not speak. Last October, during the takedown operation, a knife was stabbed into her waist, almost hitting the kidneys. She was stitched 14 times. In January this year, when tracing the suspect, she was discovered in an alley and stabbed twice in the back. One of the stabs went as deep as the bone. Do you know what she did the night after your wedding? My hands are trembling. That night, there was a report suggesting the suspect might have obtained her address. She went out to verify your safety. She crouched in a blind spot of surveillance near your community all night long. She returned to the station only the next morning. The convenience store's air conditioner hummed. And I felt cold all over. Why didn't she tell me? The Special Task Force's discipline forbids it. And Han Jianjun looked at me. She doesn't want you to worry. She doesn't want you to get involved either. She told me one thing. He speaks in the tone of Xinyu. Lu Zheng is a good person. I can't harm him. 5 characters. I can't harm him. The bottle of mineral water in my hand is deformed from squeezing. My eyes ache terribly. Han Jianjun patted my shoulder. Xiao Lu. The case is almost closed. At most. In a month. Wait for her a little longer. Chapter 9. When I walked out of the convenience store, my legs were weak. I sat in the car for 10 minutes dazed. My head is filled with scenes from these 6 months. At 2 in the morning she tiptoed in, trying not to make a sound. The blood stains on her sleeve that won't wash out. That line of hers. I'm really exhausted. When she said, stop kidding around. There was something in her voice that I hadn't heard at the time. Not perfunctory. It was a request. She was asking me not to press further, because she feared that once she spoke, she wouldn't be able to keep anything hidden. And that night she said, what you want? I can't give you. I can't give it. It's not that I don't want to. It's not allowed. I punched the steering wheel. The horn sounded once. Sharp and piercing. I thought of the meal she cooked. The vegetables burned and the eggs fried to the point of being unbearably salty. That was the first meal she squeezed out time to learn how to cook for her husband. Even though every day she dealt with knives and guns and hardly had time to eat. What did I say at that time? None of this helps. I swear I'm saying useless. My head slammed into the steering wheel. A dull pain in my forehead. I deserve this. I turned the car around and headed home. When I pushed the door open, Xinyu was sitting in the living room. She wasn't wearing a police uniform. Just a gray home hoodie. She wasn't watching TV or looking at her phone. Just sitting there, as if waiting for a judgment result. When she saw me come in, she stood up. Lu Zheng. I met Uncle Han. Her face changed color in an instant. What did he tell you? Everything he said. Her body shivered. Hand resting on the sofa arm. He shouldn't have said that. How could he? That's confidential. Her lips trembled. Not anger. Fear. What are you afraid of? Afraid I'll get dragged in. Xinyu. Let me see your injury. She took a step back abruptly. No need. I'm not negotiating with you. I walked over and stood in front of her. The distance at this moment is closer than at any time in the past 6 months. She looked up at me. And in her eyes was a kind of vulnerability I had never seen before. Then she closed her eyes. Slowly she turned around. Rolled the hoodie up from bottom to top with both hands. The moment the back was exposed, my breath stopped. 3 scar lines. 2 horizontal. 1 vertical. The longest stretching from the left shoulder blade down to the waist. The scars have turned pale, with irregular edges, revealing that the suturing was done in a rush. There is a circular dent at the position of the right rib. Not big, but I know what left that. That is the mark after the bullet grazed. Her voice came from ahead. Flat. As if she were giving a work report. This one is from September last year. These 2 are from January this year. This one, she paused, is the one we left our emergency post on the 3rd day of our marriage after receiving a tip. That night the situation was complicated. The suspect had a gun. Her spine was trembling slightly. Lu Zheng. That is why I won't let you touch me. I don't want you to see. I don't want to let you be afraid. I don't want you to live every day on edge because of my job. So I chose the dumbest approach, the not getting close to why. Oh you. She put the clothes down, then turned to face me. The eye sockets are red, but there are no tears. Her gaze is steady, the kind that only comes after having gone through too many life and deaths. Sorry. I am a very bad wife. A pinch in my nostrils. Tears streaming down in response. I have never cried in front of anyone in my life. But at that moment I couldn't control myself. I held her tightly in my arms. Her body stiffened once more like a conditioned reflex. But this time, I did not let go. I held on tightly, so tightly that I could feel the rough, uneven scars on her back, pressing into my palm through the thin fabric. 3 seconds later, her hand slowly rose, resting on my back. Then it tightened. She buried her face in my shoulder. I felt the fabric on my shoulder getting slightly damp. She cried. There was no sound. Only the shoulders trembled. One after another, like someone who has carried something too far for too long. Finally letting it go. I held her and stood in the middle of the living room. The curtains were not drawn, and the streetlight poured in, creating 2 stacked shadows on the floor. I whispered something in her ear. I tore up that agreement. She held him tighter. Chapter 10. A month later, the special task force closed its net. That day, before Shinyu left the house, he paused at the doorway for the first time. He turned around and looked at me. Wait for me to come back. Not able. Not you eat first. It's wait for me to come back. 3 characters. I nod. I simmered the soup. Drink it when you come back. Drink it then. Her lips moved a little. Not a smile. But it was the gentlest expression I've ever seen from her. I only learned the details of that day's operation afterwards. During the arrest, Shinyu led the team to storm the main suspect's hiding place. The other side fought like a trapped beast, brandishing a knife to resist capture. Shinyu was the first to rush in. During the struggle, her arm was cut open. It wasn't deep, but it did bleed quite a lot. Uncle Han later told me that she didn't even receive anesthesia during the suturing. Ask her why. She said there isn't enough time. After the anesthesia is done, she still has to wait. She needs to hurry back. Go back for what? Go home. My husband has cooked soup. When I heard this sentence, I was in the kitchen heating up soup. My hands trembled, and the salt jar almost fell into the pot. At exactly 9 o'clock that night, the door lock clicked. Shinyu walked in, with gauze wrapped around his left arm, a bruise on his face, his hair disheveled, and a patch of ash still sticking to one spot. But her eyes are very bright, brighter than at any time since I've known her. It's broken. 2 words, carrying the weight of the entire year in the tone. I served the soup and brought it to the table. Let's eat first. She sat down, picked up a spoon, and took a sip. Then she stopped. What's wrong? Are you salty? She shook her head. Delicious. Tears splashed into the bowl. She hurriedly wiped it with her sleeve, displacing the gauze. Don't hurt the wound. I stepped over and used a tissue to wipe it for her. She looked up at me. This time, her eyes held neither coldness, nor estrangement, nor that ironclad defensive wall. There's only one thing. The thing I waited 6 months for. Nearly didn't get it. Half a month later, Shinyu was awarded a first-class individual merit. On the day of the commendation ceremony, the bureau notified her that she must be present. Before heading out in her full police uniform, she stood in front of the mirror adjusting her collar. I leaned against the doorway watching her. The deep blue uniform, the silver badge, the epaulets glimmering in the light. Beautiful. So beautiful. She felt a little uncomfortable at my gaze in the mirror. What are you looking at? Look at my wife. Her ears reddened. A female detective who can single-handedly wrestle a knife. Her ears turning red at the words look at my wife. That afternoon I went to the bureau to pick her up. When I was waiting at the gate of the compound, Uncle Han came out first. I caught sight of him from afar and gave a big thumbs up. Then Shinyu appeared. She walked up to me and stuffed the certificate of honor into my arms. Hold this for me. Are you going to let me hold something so important? She looked at me. You mean more than this? After speaking, I moved ahead. I stood still, holding that red certificate, as the November wind pricked my nose. When I caught up, I reached out and held her hand. Her fingers were cool, but this time, she did not dodge. Instead, I turned my hand around and held onto mine, with fingers interlaced. They were clamped tightly, as if I had no intention of letting go for the rest of my life. When I got home that night, I made steamed base. She ate 2 bowls of rice. After finishing the meal, we watched TV on the sofa. She leaned on my shoulder and fell asleep before half an episode had passed. I didn't move. Just let her lean on me like that. Looking at her side profile, her eyelashes are long. Her nose bridge is high, and there is a small trace on her lips where it had cracked and healed. The gauze on the arm has been removed, leaving a shallow pink line. It will eventually become an inconspicuous mark, but I will remember. Behind every scar lies the storm she carried for others. Part of it was for me. I lowered my head and gently touched her forehead. She wrinkled her nose slightly in her sleep. Then Hien edged into my arms. The moonlight outside the window was very beautiful. Inside the room, it finally felt like home. Later someone asked me what it felt like to marry a female police officer. I thought for a moment. There is always soup kept for her in the fridge. There are always ironed police uniforms hanging in the closet. Every morning I wake 10 minutes before her and place a glass of warm water beside her pillow. Every night, no matter what time she comes back, the living room light is always on. Sometimes she will tiptoe in at 3 in the morning. And in the dark she will precisely reach out to touch my hand, clench it, then I know. She's back. Safe. That's enough.